This is a quiet story about aging, love, and dignity. We slept in the same bed for 41 years, and yet, for most of them, we lived very far apart. Part 1. The Life That Worked. I don't remember our wedding day very clearly. People always find that strange. They expect flowers, music, a dress remembered in detail. But what I remember most is how tired I felt that night. Not unhappy, just tired. We married because it made sense. He had a steady job at the plant. I worked part-time at the library. Our parents approved. We were both careful people. Neither of us dreamed very loudly. That helped. The house came later. A small place at first, then this one, the one I'm sitting in now. We did everything we were supposed to do. We paid bills on time. We raised 2 children who grew into decent adults. We argued, but never cruelly. We didn't shout. We didn't throw things. We didn't storm out. At night, we slept in the same bed for 41 years. He slept on the left. I slept on the right. That never changed. We used separate blankets. Not because we fought, but because he liked to tuck his feet out and I liked mine warm. That's how it started, and then it just stayed that way. Sometimes, when the light was off and the house finally quiet, I would listen to his breathing, slow, predictable, a sound that meant the day was over. We rarely touched, not because we didn't care, we just didn't reach. He was a good man, truly. He never cheated, never drank too much, never raised a hand. He fixed things when they broke. He came home every night. I cooked, I cleaned, I remembered birthdays, I packed lunches, I folded his shirts the way he liked, creases sharp, buttons closed. People used to tell me I was lucky, and I believed them, because nothing was wrong. That was the problem. We talked about the children, about the weather, about the news. We talked about what needed to be done next. But we never talked about ourselves. Not once did either of us say, "Are you happy?" And even if we had, I'm not sure we would have known how to answer. Some nights, I lay awake beside him, staring at the ceiling. I would think about small things, a sentence I never said, a hand I never reached for. Then morning would come, coffee, toast, work. Life moved forward. It always does. And when you're busy surviving it, you don't notice what you're quietly losing. Part 2. The Quiet Distance. Distance doesn't arrive suddenly. It doesn't slam the door or announce itself. It comes in small, polite steps. So small, you mistake them for normal life. The children grew. They needed less from us. That should have given us more time for each other. Instead, it left space we didn't know how to fill. He worked longer hours. I stopped asking why. I filled my days with errands, volunteer work, quiet routines that made the time pass faster. At dinner, we sat across from each other, chewing, listening to the clock on the wall. We spoke when something needed saying. Silence did the rest. Sometimes I wanted to tell him things, not important things, not emergencies, just thoughts, like how the house felt too large now, or how I missed the sound of the children running down the hallway, or how some afternoons I felt invisible even to myself. But the words stayed inside. He looked tired most of the time, and I didn't want to add weight to a man already carrying so much. That's what I told myself. Years passed that way. Not empty years, productive years, useful years, but quiet ones. I began to notice small changes. He stopped reaching for my hand in public, not intentionally, just forgot. When I cut my hair short for the first time, he didn't say anything, not good or bad, just nothing. That hurt more than criticism would have. At night, we still slept side by side, our backs often turned away from each other, like two people sharing a long train ride, each staring out their own window. Sometimes, in the dark, I would turn slightly towards him. I'd consider resting my hand on his arm, just to feel another person there. But I worried it might surprise him, or feel strange, or worse, feel unwanted. So I didn't. Instead, I pulled my blanket tighter and listened to his breathing again. Still steady, still familiar. Familiar can be comforting, but it can also be lonely. I don't blame him. I don't blame myself either. We were raised to believe love meant endurance, showing up, doing your duty, and we did that well. We just didn't know that love also needs curiosity, needs asking, needs risk. No one taught us that part. When friends spoke about romance or passion, I smiled politely. I assumed that kind of love belonged to younger people or louder ones. Ours was quieter, practical, and I told myself that was enough. Until the day time finally slowed us down, until life stopped rushing us forward and left us alone with what we had built. It was his knee first. Something small, a slip on the back steps, a crack that echoed louder in my memory than it did in the yard. After the surgery, he was home more, sitting, waiting, watching the world instead of moving through it. For the first time in decades, our days slowed. I made his meals softer, learned which pills came before breakfast and which after. I watched the way he struggled to stand without showing it on his face. We spoke more then, not deeply, but more, about pain, about sleep, about how strange it felt to depend on someone after a lifetime of independence. One afternoon, while helping him into his chair, my hand brushed his shoulder. He flinched slightly, then relaxed. "Sorry," he said. "It's all right," I replied. Neither of us moved away. It stayed that way for a few seconds longer than necessary. That small moment stayed with me. Later, I realized it wasn't the touch that mattered, it was the permission. A few months after that, I got sick. Nothing dramatic, just enough to remind me that my body was not as reliable as it once was. I slept more, moved slower. He brought me tea the way I used to bring it to him. Too strong, not enough sugar. I'd drink it anyway. One evening, the television was on, but neither of us was watching. He suddenly said, without looking at me, "Do you think we did it right?" I didn't answer immediately. I wanted to, but the question felt heavy, like opening a drawer you've avoided for years. "We did our best," I finally said. He nodded. "Yes, we did." But his voice didn't sound convinced. That night, we lay in bed as always, two sides, two blankets. But this time, I didn't turn away. I stared at the ceiling and thought about all the things we had never asked each other, all the moments we assumed would come later. Later has a way of disappearing. I don't know what pushed me. Maybe fear, maybe age, maybe the quiet made room for honesty. I reached out, just enough for my fingers to touch his. He didn't move at first, then he turned his hand slightly, not fully, just enough to acknowledge mine. No words, no promises, just contact. And in that simple touch, I felt something loosen, not regret exactly, more like recognition. We were still here, older, slower, imperfect, but still here. We didn't change overnight. There was no sudden closeness, no dramatic conversations where everything spilled out at once. Life doesn't work that way. not at our age. But something shifted. We began sitting in the same room more often, not talking, just being near each other without distraction. Some mornings he reached for my hand without thinking. Sometimes he didn't. I stopped counting. I learned that love, for us, was never loud. It didn't announce itself. It lived in habits, in showing up, in staying. But I also learned something else. Love without words can survive, but love without curiosity slowly fades into comfort. And comfort, when left alone too long, becomes distance. One afternoon, while folding laundry together, he said, "I wish I had asked you more questions." I smiled, not sadly, just gently. "I wish I had answered them," I said. We laughed quietly after that, not because it was funny, but because it was true. We didn't try to fix the past. It was too large for that. Instead, we focused on the small remaining days, on choosing presence over habit, on touch over silence. Some nights we still face opposite walls, other nights we don't, and that's enough. If I've learned anything, it's this. A long marriage isn't measured by passion or perfection. It's measured by whether, when the noise of life finally fades, you are willing to turn toward each other even after all that time. That was our lesson, and it came late, but not too late.